Hello, everyone. So we got the news that we will be finishing school online for the rest of the year. So I do miss you guys. I'm kind of sad because that means I won't see any of you in the classroom again this year. But it is what it is. Um, so this is the second lesson under our probability section. So today we're going to be talking about frequency tables. What I suggest you do, frequency tables. What I suggest you do is while you're watching this video, kind of treat it like you're in class with me and I'm doing the notes on the board. You're going to want to take some notes, otherwise you'll be having to revisit all these lessons again in the future because some of this stuff's going to get kind of complicated. But if you take notes, you'll have a set of notes, you'll work through it, and you'll have a good understanding of how these things work. We're going to talk about frequency tables today, and then next week on Monday, the lesson will be about this thing called two-way tables, and then it's going to get progressively more difficult after that. Frequency tables is not too bad though. So like I said, use your notebook, pause the video when you need to. Frequency tables. So what do we use frequency tables for? Well, they are for sets, large sets of data. So when we have a large set of data, we can organize it much better by using a frequency table. Just helps us to organize large sets of data. So for example, let's pretend, let me start on a nice fresh, okay, so just for example, let's say that I have this data set. Okay, it's a lot of numbers, but I'm gonna write it down so we can see it. Oh, go back on that. 0, 3, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 1, 0. And then we're going to do another line. 1, 2, 1, 2, 0, 1, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. Just make sure I got this one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 0, 1, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay, this data set right here, this is going to represent the number, this is the number of absences in a class over 25 days. So this is how many people were missing when we did the attendance. This is the number of people that were missing from a class over the course of 25 days. So if I build a frequency table, you're going to see how it helps us to organize this data. So a frequency table has 3 columns. The first column is, we're going to call this the number of absences. The number of absences is going to go in this column. And we'll also just give this a value. We'll call this x, okay? So x is going to represent the number of people that were absent on any given day. Our second column is going to be the frequency. The frequency. How many times did that number happen? And then our last column is just going to simply be, well, we'll call this FR for short. So in this column here, we're going to turn it into like a function of x. So what we're going to do for the last column is we're just going to multiply the number of absences times how many times it happened to get a number. So the frequency, or the function of it, is just going to be x times FR. In other words, just take this number, multiply by this number, get this number here in this column. Okay, so I'm going to try to build a little table here. You might want to pause the video at some point here. And take notes here and do a make yourself a little table in your notes so that you understand how these things work. So I'm going to build a little table. Now, how many different types of numbers do I have? Let's see, I have zeros, I have ones, I have twos, and I have threes. So I have 4 different types of number in this data set. I don't have anything other than 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that means that I will need at least 4 columns to make my frequency, or rows, sorry, 4 rows to make a frequency table. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, let's start filling in our chart. Okay, so let's start with the lowest number we have, which is 0. So these are days when nobody was absent. Okay, how many times was nobody absent? We'll just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 5 times. 5 times nobody was absent. And remember, on our last column, we're going to just multiply these numbers together. Well, 0 times 5 is still 0. Let's move on to our next number. Our next number is 1. Okay, so this is the number, this is the times that we had one person absent from class. How many times did that happen over 25 days? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 6 times that one person was missing. And 1 times 6 is 6. What about 2? How many times were 2 people missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We had 12 times that 2 people were missing. And 2 times 12 is 24. Last number, 3. How many times were 3 people missing from class? Let's count them. 1, 2. That's it. There's only 2. So only 2 times were 3 people missing. And 3 times 2 is 6. Now, the great thing about organizing your data into a frequency table is it makes finding things like the mean, the median, and the mode, those things become very easy to find now. I don't even need to sort my data. Like I don't even have to put my data in order. And obviously the bigger the data set you have, the more useful this is. This is very simplistic with the numbers I use, but try to imagine if we had a much bigger set of numbers and there was more to it and there was more different numbers of bigger maybe. Okay, you would see that this would become much easier to work with the data by putting it into a table like this than to try to work with it as a large data set. Let's see how this is useful. Okay, so you'll remember. I want to know what's the average or the mean of my data here. You'll remember that last lesson. If you read the lesson, you know that the mean is that you take the total, right? You take the total of all your data. You total up all your data, and you divide it by the number of data points you have, or the number of values you have, and that gives you the mean. Okay, well, because we've put this into a nice little table, it's going to make it very easy to figure out what that is. So to get my total, I just need to add up this column right here. 6 and 24 are 30. 30 and 36 gives me, let's do it in a different color. The total of this column is 36. If I total up this column, 6 and 5 are 11. 11 and 12 are 23. 23 and 2 are 25. Now, just take a second to think about what do these totals represent? Well, this column right here represents how many times these numbers happen. Like 1 happens 6 times, 2 happen 12 times, and so on and so forth. This column actually represents because we multiply them together, this represents the total of all my data. In other words, if I added 0 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2, and I went through this entire thing, this kind of summarizes it for me. This is 36. This is my total. Okay, so in this column here, this gives me, this is the total, and this is the number of values. So your frequency gives you your number of values, how many total values you have, how many points of data were in your set of data. And the column here where you multiply them together, this is the totals. If you added them all together, this gives you the total. So this makes it very easy to get the mean. So the mean is simply going to be, take your total, 36, and divide it by, we had 25 data points. Just take your calculator and punch that into your calculator. So let's see what we get. 36 divided by 25 equals 1.44. 1.44. So that means that on average, or the mean, the mean or average on any given day during this time, there was approximately 1.44 students missing. What if I wanted the median? Now this is really useful to find the median, because to find the median, without using a frequency table, you would have to order this data. You need to put all the zeros first, then all the ones, then all the twos, then all the three. You would have to order this all out to find the median. Okay, this is going to be really simple with a frequency table. All I have to do is figure out where's the middle. I have 25 points of data, right? Where's the middle number? Let's go over here. Where is the middle number? If I have 25 points of data, where's the exact middle? Well, just take 25 and divide it by 2. And if you type that in your calculator, you will see that that gives you 12.5. So the middle number is at the 12.5 number. Okay, so keep that in mind. 12.5 number. Now, the frequency table already sorts the data in order for me. We have 5 zeros. So if I were to be writing this in order, I would start by writing down 5 zeros. Then I would put 6 number 1s. Then I would put 12 number 2s. Then I would put 2 number 3s. So do you see, if you have a frequency table, you can find where the middle is very quickly. Well, it's the 12.5 number, which means, well, here's the first 5 are 0. 6 and 5 are 11. So the 12th number would be a 2, because 6 and 5 are 11. The next number is a 12th number, and the 12th number would be number 2. The 13th number would also be a number 2. Now, because it's a 0.5 number, we need to take into account that our two numbers in the middle are a 12, or sorry, not 12, not 12, let me erase that. Our two numbers in the middle are both 2's. It's a 2, comma 2. So we got a bunch of numbers going this way and a bunch of numbers going this way. The 2 in the exact middle, it's a 2 and a 2. While the mean of 2 and 2 is 2, so the median number is a 2. So if I were to organize my data, the exact middle number would be a number 2. Now, to find the mode, a frequency table makes my life easy. The mode is the one that occurs the most. Just look at your which one has the biggest frequency. There's 12 of the 2's, so my mode is 2. And lastly, the range. And the range, of course, would be the largest number in your data set minus the smallest number in your data set, or 3 minus 0, which is 3. So I have a range of 3. So you can see a frequency table makes it quite easy to deal with a large set of data. And to find, to quickly calculate the mean, median, mode, and range is quite easy. Okay, I have a few questions for you guys to practice to do this. So let me erase this, because if you still need it, you can pause the video and go back if you need to. Okay, so what I want you to do is you'll see that right after you get done watching this video, you'll see that I've linked the page right beneath. I believe the page, I think it'll say something like page 45.jpg, I think. That's what it says. Just click on that link. Bring up, it's a picture of the textbook. And in there, I want you guys to do this information will be on the page as well, but I want you to do numbers 2 to 4. And these questions have to do with using frequency tables. And then when you get that done, there will be a quiz of 5 questions. And these 5 questions I've designed just to check to see if you did the work. So I'm going to put a very short time limit. There'll be a very small time limit on this because I'm assuming that you've got the answers right in front of you. You've already done the questions and you have the answers right in front of you when you go to do the quiz. And it's going to ask you to tell me certain things about the thing, questions 2 to 4. And you just simply put in your answers. And by putting in your answers, it's a way for me to check to see that you actually did the classwork, and that will go in as a classwork grade. Okay, last thing, a little bit of housekeeping. I have about 50 of the tests still to grade. I hope to get those done today, and then I'll upload your test scores into Skyward. And last little bit of housekeeping, just in case you didn't read the announcement or maybe none of your other teachers told you, there will be no final. There is no final, not only in my course, but in any course. There should be no teacher in any of your classes should be giving you a final. You are not supposed to get a final in any class, period. So you know that normally in a normal semester when we're in school, semester, can't spell today. In a normal semester, you know you've got your third quarter grade, your fourth quarter grade, and a final. And you know that normally it is weighted to get the semester grade. Normally it's 40% third, 40% fourth, and 20% final. Okay, so what's happening with the situation we're in now is there's no final. Okay, so like I said, no teacher should be giving you a final in any of your courses. So instead, it's now going to be weighted like this. So what's happening with our online school is this. It's now going to be weighted 50-50. So there's no final, but everything that you do online is going to be worth 50% of your semester grade. So everything that we're doing, and we're only going to have 2 unit tests, the one you guys just wrote, and the one now that for this unit that we're doing right here, the one that we take for this unit. So you're only going to have 2 unit tests. I will pop in a quick quiz somewhere along the way that counts as a test grade, so that we'll get at least 3. You have at least 3 opportunities, because in my class, the test grades are 60% of your grade. But you're now weighted 50-50 to get your final semester grade will be 50 and 50. And the good news for you guys is now you don't have to write a final. I don't know where all of you are at in certain things. The only thing that was waived, okay, just let me clear up a little misconception that's going around. I've seen some people post this on social media. There's a little bit of a misconception going on. When the state said, okay, that they were waiving grades, this is what people heard. People heard that, oh, that means I'm going to pass my course no matter what I do, because they've waived my grades and I'm going to pass no matter what now. And I don't have to do any work in school. No, that's not what they meant when they said they're waiving grades. What they meant was they were waiving EOCs, like things like some of you might have a history EOC or something. Now, they waived the test, but that means that for your graduation, you will have to make these things up next year. But for your fourth quarter grade, they're just going to do 50-50 to calculate your fourth quarter grade. If you have one of the mandatory tests, like for example, like Algebra 1, one of the mandatory tests for graduation, you will have to make that up next year. But just to kind of clear up that misconception, yes, you still need to complete this. If you fail 50% here and you didn't have a very good grade in the third quarter, you'll probably get an F, and you will fail Algebra 2 for the second quarter. Okay, and that applies to all your classes. No, nobody is waiving any of your courses. You're not getting an automatic pass. So make sure you're doing your work for all of the whatever course you have. Make sure you're doing the work and getting it in. You will be getting a grade, and it will affect your GPA, and it does affect you. So make sure that you're getting all your work done. All right, guys, this is the last lesson for this week. You have until Friday to finish this particular one right here. You have until Friday. Ooh, why can I not spell today? This is unreal. You have until Friday to do it. You have till Friday. It's always open. It's still open after Friday. It doesn't lock like the test. It's still open after Friday, but if you don't finish it on Friday beginning on Saturday, you start to lose 5% per day off of the thing. So it's really to your benefit to make sure you do finish this by Friday. That goes for the first one I give you. In the classwork, I'm calling this 9.2, and you should have done 9.1 already, but you had till Friday to do both the 9.1 and 9.2. That's it. That's all I have for you this week. I tried to really break this up for you and make it really like we're doing far less work than we would be if we were actually in class. So just know I'm trying to make this easy on you guys. I'm giving you less work than what we normally would have done if I was seeing you in school. I miss you all. Get this done. There'll be another lesson next week. I will be doing something else in VR again. All right, that's it for now. Goodbye.